Okay, so today we're going to talk about stress. Sometimes in life things affect us and we might not even realise it. So we want to highlight the things that might be stressing you out. Then we're going to come up with some strategies that are going to help you overcome them. I want to tell you a story that I found out that really worked well for me and has helped a lot of my clients about stress. There was a professor who was talking to students and he picked up a glass of water and asked them all how heavy they thought it was, and they came back with 8 to 10 ounces. They then started to discuss how long he could hold it for, and initially of course there was no problems. The water was relatively light, the glass was relatively light, but as time would pass the water or the glass would feel heavier and heavier as the joints and the muscles would begin to burn from holding that position. Stress is very much like this. You can pick it up initially and feel relatively comfortable with it at the start, but the more you hold on to it, the more pain it can cause you as you go further down the line. It's okay to put the glass, stress, down now and again and come back to it at a later stage. A good idea is to identify the small things that might seem relatively insignificant but could cause bigger problems further on as the day goes on. I can think of an instance right now with my wife and her phone. She had to put the charger in a very specific position to get it to charge, and then one morning it hadn't quite held the position, so the phone was dead. She was running late, she couldn't call her boss, and the whole thing just escalated into a much bigger thing than it needed to be. Identify these small things and make changes to those as quickly as possible, because they're the things that can save you future stress. So another example is, think of you driving your car and you see the arrow indicating where the fuel is dropping down, and suddenly the lights come up that indicates the tank is nearly empty. Are you the sort of person that straight away thinks you've got to get to the garage straight away to fill up the tank? Or are you someone that thinks, great, I've got at least the rest of the day to be able to drive around? When you identify how you think in those kind of circumstances, you can start to sort of build the strategy and the plan that's going to save you the stress that might be caused. So what we want to try and do now is look at how we can reduce those insignificant stresses that you might get throughout the day. So if you remember the phone charger, if you have the stress of not knowing whether your phone is going to be charged, buy a new one. Immediately the stress is alleviated. Think about something like in the morning, if you're always rushing around, having to get out the front door to get on time for work, what could you do the night before that might start to give you some time back? Maybe you could make your lunch and have it in the fridge ready and waiting for you. And when you get to the office, is there anything that causes you any stress there? Does someone have an annoying habit or make an annoying noise? What control can you take over that situation? Could you put earphones in and not listen to them? Or could you actually approach them and tell them that they're causing you a bit of annoyance, and could they stop it please? When you start to take control of these small stresses, you'll start to alleviate them, and that's only going to serve you. Let me help you understand that not all stress is bad. It can actually help you to grow and develop. If you think about it in terms of a scale and balance, if you have too little or too much, it's not a good place to be in. However, if you can get the sweet spot and keep the balance just straight, that will help you. Think about a heart surgeon working in a surgery with a patient on his table. He will have had to have a certain amount of stress to be able to get to that point. Everything from the decision at school to decide that that's what he was going to do, the university that he went to, the exams he would have had to do, the work that he would have had to have done to get his degree. Eventually he would have got to the point whereby he grew with his stress enough that he could do the job that he'd set out to do. So think of stress as like yin and yang. Too little is bad. Too much is bad. Getting the perfect combination of the two is a sweet spot to help you grow and develop. So think about that heart surgeon now. Do you think he's going to get stressed about the small things in life? Do you think he's going to be worried about the fact that his sandwiches haven't been made or the phone charger isn't charging his phone? Very, very unlikely. He'll be focused on much higher level things that will get him stressed. It will probably be the fact that someone's life is actually in his hands. And even then, he will still have a certain amount of balance on that. It's okay to get stressed, but it's not okay to lose control. So what I would recommend is if you find there are things that are getting you stressed in your daily life, look at what it is that you can do to take control of it. What habits or rituals could you start that would eliminate that stress and move it out of the way and let you concentrate on the bigger things? I'm Simon Williams, personal trainer and coach, helping you to become a healthier, happier, stronger man. Make sure you watch the next video and don't forget to subscribe. It's a bit different.
Yeah, mix it up.
Why not?
Good.